So we've opened Logic, and when you open it, it should prompt you to create a track, something along these lines. What we're going to do is select software instrument first of all. So click on software instrument. What we've got here is the arrange page, and we've also got the library page and the information page as well. We can switch this on and off and get kind of more arranged page real estate, as they call it at Apple. Or we can, if we hover over, actually with Logic there's lots that can be changed by just kind of moving the mouse and hovering over things. So when I get to that point there, I get this kind of strange little tool, which is kind of like a crosshair but with arrows on it. So I can move this to the desired location. What I'm going to do first of all is click on the eye. You can also open and close this by clicking on the eye on the computer keyboard as well, which is rather convenient. So what we're going to do is, we've got a software instrument there, and I think the first thing that we should do is to select a sound. Now there's numerous ways that we can do this, and what we've got here is a channel strip, and this channel strip will also hold our sound source, so like a synthesizer or a sampler or a piano or an organ, which we'll call software instrument, audio instrument, or plugin. I might refer to it as one of those three things. They're all the same thing, they're just over the years they've been changed and called different things. So it's a plugin, audio instrument, or software instrument. So we can select instruments here, and these are just instruments without effects on them. We can just here where it says audio effects, we can add effects to them. Or up here in settings, we've got a whole load of presets that we can access. Now there's a couple of places where sounds are kept really, but for this tutorial we're just going to look at the sounds that is in here. So when I click on this little kind of, I guess this is a filing system in it, it's like the drawer of a filing cabinet. So here we have various instruments, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select a drum kit. So when I click on that, I'm just left clicking as you would do. We can select various sounds. So first of all, I'm just going to select the Manchester drum kit, and yeah, you can see there that it's loaded this drum kit into the channel strip. So the channel strip is where the sound lives, and it's already put an EQ on, which has appeared up here, and a compressor. Don't worry if you don't know what that is at the time being. And it's also put a bus in there as well, and this will allow us to, if I click on that, it will show you that it's actually going off to a reverb, but at the moment it isn't turned up, so we've got no volume on that. So, but we can add some reverb to it later on if we choose to. So what we're going to do first of all then is just have a look at some of these other functions. So like I say, we can turn these on and off. I'm not too worried about these at the moment. You've got stop, play, record, rewind or review, and forward function. So that's pretty self-explanatory. You can also access record by clicking on the letter R on the computer keyboard, and I spend a lot of time using the spacebar as well to stop and start. You can see that I'm just clicking the spacebar now, and that's automatically pressing play and stop. So and you'll notice actually if we stop there, that stop button changes to a go to the beginning sign, and if in doubt you should be able to hover over most things and it will tell you what they are. Don't worry about the things that you don't know at this stage. Logic's an incredibly deep program. There's a lot of parameters on there, there's a lot of features, and you can't learn them all in one session, but it doesn't stop you making music, which is a great thing. Up here at the top, I said before that the cursor changes depending on where you are. At the moment in the arrange page I've just got the cursor. Okay, if you look when you go over the song position line here, we can actually move that as well. We can move that around. If we come up to here, then you get this hand. If I click on that hand, it will create a cycle, not to be confused with the loop. So if I press play, it will cycle around this one bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that's great if you're working on a drum pattern or you're trying to program a bass line or something like that. What we also have as well, which is worth looking at the moment, is this tells you as a larger readout of where you are. So that's showing you what bar you're on at any one time. And very importantly, we've got tempo here. And the only way for us really to know what tempo we're in is to click the metronome here. So this is quite an important feature as well. So we'll hear it. So that'll give us an idea what the tempo is. And in the early stages of working with Logic, if you're new to Logic or new to using software to write music, it's very important to try and keep things to the tempo. It makes it far easier when we come to structuring the track and arranging the parts. So I'm going to stick with 105 for the time being. And what I'm going to show you is if you press T on your keypad, you will get these tools. Now again, there's lots of tools in here and we don't need to learn them all at once, but the one that I'm going to use at the moment is pencil, because what I'm going to do here is create a block, okay, or actually it's called a region, so let's call it a region. And then I'm going to double click and it will open up the piano roll here. And again, I'm going to press T and we will get a whole load more. Some are the same and some are different, but we've got pencil there as well. So if you look, it changes. So I can have a cursor in there and that would be pencil, and then coming down that changed to cursor. So it's kind of smart, it knows where it is. Let's get the pencil. Okay, so if we look at these divisions, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. For the time being, I'm just going to put in a little bass drum in there. And so I'm just putting those on the divisions of 4. And you can hear that that's in time with the metronome. So that allows me to draw in notes. Before we go any further, it's worth having a look at the metronome settings. So if I press Control on the computer keyboard and click on metronome settings, then I can change the tonality of it. So this is the default sound. Something along, let me just mute that. Which is, I can't really hear that, it's barely audible. I like a real, you can change the volume of it as well. So that allows you to, I like to change the sound of that metronome so I can hear where I am. So that is a very basic, just getting a little part in loading an instrument and setting the metronome. And that concludes the first part of this tutorial.